Okay. So last week we just started this very short chapter here, talking about economic growth, right? And we use a lot of PPC to explain economic growth, and we know that PPC and ADS model, they are actually connected, right? Yeah. So when you are using PPC, you can use ADS model at the same time to explain an economy. Okay, so you have to understand how they can be connected to each other. Yeah, that's the most important thing that you have to learn in this chapter here. Okay, yeah, PPC is a very basic concept, and ADAS you have just learned that. So yeah, if you any confusion, is please just feel free to ask. Okay, yeah, right, all right, yeah. So let's finish up this chapter here, because it's such a short chapter. So at the end of the last lesson, we did a very quick discussion about this. Yeah, in some countries, like developing countries, they do have a lot of natural or human capital, but at the end, yeah, they don't really have a good economic growth. And you guys gave me some very good points. Yeah, so there are so many different factors that we have to consider, right? Such as like corruption, the quality of the capital, yeah, etc., etc. Yeah, so many other institutional factors, right? And that's why, even though some of the countries, they have a huge quantity of capital, but at the end, they don't see a nice long-term growth. Okay, yeah, because there are so many different factors that are affecting the result. Okay, right. So here, yeah, let's move on. Okay, so now look, I just want to talk about productivity. Well, basically we all know what that is. Okay, so when you look at this, yeah, productivity is like how efficient your production is. Okay, and if you want to make it more specifically, yeah, is basically the output per working hour of population. Okay, so every 1 hour, what is the output from this population? Okay, of course, yeah, the more output that you can produce within 1 hour, the higher the productivity. So this is what we are talking about. And how do you increase the output within that 1 hour? Is to invest in capital. Okay, yeah. So when we're talking about long-term economic growth, okay, we always talk about, yeah, how you should invest in different capital, and so that this is the reason. Okay, the major reason, because when you are investing in capital, your productivity should be increased. Okay, and that's why you can see the efficiency in the production should be increased as well. Okay, so you can produce more in less time. So at the end, right, you can see a higher production possibilities. Okay, and that's why you will see like a shift to the right when you draw a PPC curve, or when you are trying to use ADS model, your long run AS curve or your Keynesian AS curve will shift to the right. Okay, right? It's all because of this. Everything becomes more efficient. So this is, yeah, more productive, I should say. Okay, so that's productivity. Okay, so I appreciate you understand this. So I'm not going to go further detail into this, but do not get confused about this concept. So many students, when they were in GCSE, yeah, just like the cohort for this year, they always made the same mistake. They confused the matter of increasing output and increasing productivity. Okay, so if I just give you a scenario, let's say because of some reason the labor force is increasing. So if the labor force is increasing, will the output increase? Can someone answer me? So if the labor force is increasing, will the output increase? Hello? It's a question of yes or no. Not necessarily. Oh, Ian, can you explain that? So more, yeah. So so let's say there are more labor. Well, but right now, look, I'm just talking about the output. Okay, it doesn't really matter like how many of the output that they are producing. Okay, so it's just a matter of fact that we now have more labors. Okay, we now have more labor. Okay, it doesn't really matter that how many output that they can produce. So if that is the assumption, what is your answer? So yes or no? Talking about output. Yeah, it should be yes, right? It should be yes. Okay. Yeah. Maybe well, you just have to well, sometimes you can assume though those increasing labor, they are some very lazy labor, but at the same time, look, they do have extra contribution, and which makes the output increased. Okay. All right. But if we are using the same scenario, so now, okay, we have an increase in labor force. Will the productivity increase? Will productivity increase? So this is another question. Yeah, not so this time. Yeah, definitely not necessarily. Okay, yeah, because just because we have more labor, okay, yeah, of course we should have more output, but it doesn't mean that our productivity is increased. Okay, just because we have more labor, just because we have more resources, doesn't mean that the productivity increases. Okay, so, and this is the point that you always have to make it clear. Okay, because so many of the students, they got it confused, and at the end, look, they missed some of the scores because of these mistakes here. Okay, so make sure you get that right. Okay, yeah, because it's all logical thinking. Just because you have more labor, right, doesn't mean that your efficiency is increased, because efficiency, yeah, is all depending on, look, how you invest in the capital. Okay, so many qualitative factors that we have to consider. Yeah, like the level of training, level of education, some other things like motivational factors. Okay, yeah, right. They affect the productivity. Okay, so this is something that we have to make sure that we make it clear. Okay, all right, yeah. So that's productivity here. Okay, so okay. Any questions? Okay, all right, yeah. So let's move on to the next part. Okay, so here, look, it's just the same old PPC that you see. Then when you look at the y-axis and x-axis, so we can see it's talking about capital goods and consumer goods in the economy. So how you make the decision, like the combination of consumption goods and capital goods in your economy here. Okay, so as a government, right, if you are able to reach on the PPC, okay, which point do you think you should go to in order to achieve better economic growth in the future? So would you rather go to point C, producing more consumer goods, and give up a little bit more capital goods, or you would do the other way around? Would you produce more capital goods and give up some of the consumer goods? Yeah. So between A and C, as a government, what are you going to choose? Any opinions? So Ian, so you are going to choose C. Can you tell me the explanation? Like, why would you choose C? So now you believe, yeah, we should produce more consumer goods. So if we produce more consumer goods, how does it bring us more economic growth in the future? Yeah, I mean there should be a reason why you choose a C, right? But can you tell me your reason, like why you would choose C if you are a government? Yeah, we focus. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah. Well, that's yeah. So if you are talking about a short term, right? If you're talking about it in the short term, I think yeah, you are correct. Yeah, because when we have to focus on capital goods, okay, then basically we are trying to do more industrialization, okay. So yeah, in the long term, right? Yeah, it could be A, but both of you, yeah, you got the right idea, okay. So it's all about opportunity cost. Yeah, so this is what I'm trying to say, okay. As a government, you just have to make a choice, like which one would you go first, okay. And there are always opportunity costs, okay. Yeah. So if you are going to go for C, then in the short term, it will be just like Ian, yeah, what Ian is saying. But at the same time, people, they have more goods, they have more consumer goods. So pretty sure they will have a better standard of living. Yeah. But at the same time, if you just give up some of the consumer goods and you try to invest in capital goods, then right, in the short run, those people, they might not be able to enjoy a better life. But in the long run, okay, when you are able to put more money, put more resources in investment, so we are going to expect in the long run, well, God knows like how long will we get to the long run. But in the long run, the economic growth, okay, the range of the economic growth should be better. Okay, should be better. So it depends on how you make your decision. Okay, so I would say that there's no such thing as an absolute answer here. Okay, yeah. So yeah, right. It really depends on how you choose it. Yeah, like what you prefer. Okay, but when we talk about a better long run economic growth, then definitely we will go for point A, okay, first, right? Because of the reasoning that I just gave you. Okay, all right, yeah. So yeah, it depends on your objective, I believe. Yeah, it depends on all your objective. And in Hong Kong, I believe. Well, but if you are talking about Hong Kong, yeah. So which point do you think we are at right now? Yeah, do we focus more on consumer goods or capital goods in Hong Kong? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, consumer goods, and so we can expect, okay, in the long run, yeah, in Hong Kong, we might not be able to see a better economic growth. Yeah, because yeah, because when you observe Hong Kong, look, we kind of put more resources on consumer goods, and some people, some scholars, they do argue, they do criticize, why we should do that, because if we do that, then we might not be able to expect a better economic growth in the future. Yeah, but you see that there are some trade-offs. Okay, yeah, it really depends on how our government, our the government's preferences. Okay, so yeah, right, it's a normative question. Okay, or this is basically a normative idea. Okay, it's just someone's opinion. Okay, but yeah, when you talk about long run economic growth, yeah, definitely it's going to be better if you put yourself in point A. Okay, all right, yeah, okay, right. But the thing is, look, if we know this idea here, okay, yeah, then I'm pretty sure because I'm pretty sure we are not the only ones who are studying economics. Even for some developing countries, they do have people study economics, And if they know this, okay, then I'm pretty sure they are going to go for, you know, point A, okay. But the thing is, what if you don't even have enough saving for investment? Yeah. So you also need to think about this. If you don't even have enough saving for investment, okay, then you will probably spend most of your, proportion of incomes to consumption. Okay, because when you think about the poverty trap, yeah, that you have learned, okay, why people they are trapped inside that poverty cycle is because they don't have enough saving. So they spend most of their money on consumer goods to sustain their lives. Okay, so they cannot even save the money for investment. So even though some countries they know this is how we can achieve a long-term growth in our country, but it's so difficult for them to achieve this, even though they know, a concept like this. Okay, right? So there are so many limitations when we putting this into a real life scenario. Even though people they know this is how we should do in order to create a better society, but in the reality, it's just too difficult. Yeah, based on the situation that they are dealing with. Okay, right? So yeah, so we will talk about this in detail when we go to development economics. Okay, because yeah, once again, when we talk about economics, at the end of the day, look, when you are trying to study economics, we are trying to create a better society, or you can say create a better world for the people. So people, the well-being of the people can be improved. Yeah. So this is the final goal of economics. Okay. This is basically the ultimate goal of economics, right? Yeah. So when you talk about economic growth, that is just part of it. Okay. Yeah. We have to achieve economic growth in order to improve well-being. So economic growth is basically it's just a stepping stone. Okay. All right. But at the end of the day, well-being of the people, this is what we are trying to achieve when we are learning economics. Okay. And that's why development economics is at the end of the curriculum. Okay, because that is basically the biggest thing that we study in economics. Okay. Yeah. This is the final destination that we are going towards. Okay. All right. Yeah. So yeah. A little bit background of economics. Okay. Right. So it's more than just the definition that you have learned. Yeah. How to allocate the scarce resources to achieve unlimited wants and needs. That is just when you talk about like a micro definition. Yeah. I think that would apply. Yeah. But when you talk about economics in bigger picture, then yeah, it's just like what I just said. Okay, we are looking at the well-being of the society. We are looking at the well-being of the people. Yeah, how do we create the one utopia that we are always looking for? So this is what economics is. Okay, all right, yeah. So yeah, so there you go, right? Okay, here, yeah, even when you are talking about PPC, yeah, this is some argument that we can discuss about. Okay, so at the end, all right, at the end of this chapter here, I just want to discuss a little bit about economic growth. Okay, so when we try to talk about economic growth, when we have economic growth, yeah, so many other factors will be affected. Okay, yeah. So here we have 6 factors, right? So let's see if you are able to answer the questions. So look, when we talk about standard of living, okay, if we are experiencing economic growth, do you think it will have a positive or negative effect on standard of living? What do you think? So positive or negative? Positive. Can you explain it? Come on, just give me some explanation. that's why, yeah, when you are able to achieve, higher GDP per capita, higher disposable income, right? Yeah, so you are able to spend more on different goods and services. That's true. Okay. Yeah, people have high. Yeah, yeah. So that's good. Yeah, higher earning power. What? Yeah, they are supposed to be more happy when they have more disposable income. Okay, but what if I give you a hint here? Look, when we talk about all these factors here, there are always two sides. Okay, right? Yeah. Supposing that we are able to enjoy more goods and services. Supposing that when we have more income, we should be more happy. But if I say so, now you have to argue. If we are experiencing economic growth, there will be some negative effects to the standard of living. So how do you explain this? So now you just explained the positive side of this. So I want you to explain the negative side of this. So how economic growth can bring negative effects to standard of living. Okay, yeah, that's one. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, and which we will talk about it in number three, inflation. Yeah, may result in a larger income inequality. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and we'll talk about it in number four. Well, or maybe not because you have already said it. Yeah. Anything else? Talking about happiness. Are we supposed to be more happy when we, experiencing economic growth? And what if we are not so happy when we are experiencing economic growth? What is the reason why we are not so happy? Yeah, you might have to work a lot. Yeah, yeah, longer working hours. Yeah, so that's true. Okay, so you will be more stressed. Okay, so you might not be enjoy a better standard of living. Actually, okay. Anything else? Yeah, supposing that we are able to enjoy more goods and services. So how do you argue this point? Maybe because of economic growth, we are not able to enjoy more goods and services. So how do you argue this point? Yeah, because of what possible reason? And that's why we cannot enjoy more goods and services. Yeah, yeah, that's inflation, and you guys just talk about it. And yeah, but there are so many other reasons why we are not able to enjoy more goods and services because of yeah, less time to enjoy. Yeah, that's also true. Yeah, but have you ever thought about when you have economic growth, like you have like have a sustainable or very rapid economic growth? Look, what will happen to the resources? Yeah, come on, yes, exactly. Okay, yeah, the resources would probably be exploited. Okay, yeah, and also yeah, the pollution, right? Yeah, non-sustainable growth. Yes. Okay, and yeah, this is also one of the arguments that we can talk about. Okay, so this slide here is basically what you should write in an evaluation. Okay, yeah, because you guys just gave me so many ideas, and you can see there are some positive effects and there are some negative effects. Yeah, to argue the consequences of economic growth. So when you're working on the 15-mark question, okay, and when they're talking about this, yeah, if economic growth is always better for the society, this is what you're trying to talk about. Okay, this is what you're trying to argue. Okay, using different sides of arguments. All right, yeah. So yeah, So that's very good. So that's number one. What about unemployment? So let's go for the positive effect on unemployment. So what will happen to unemployment when you are trying to explain it positively? Yeah, it should be decreased. Like, but what kind of unemployment that will be decreased? Yeah, cyclical unemployment, and for sure, if the AD is increasing, right? Because when you go back to the PBC, when the AD is increasing, the actual growth is happening. Okay, so you are moving from one point, yeah, to the right. Okay, yeah, and maybe some natural unemployment can be reduced as well, right? If we are able to achieve long-term economic growth. Okay, so we are shifting the LRAS curve. So the potential output, okay, is actually increasing. Okay, or yeah. So we are using more people who were originally in the natural unemployment. Now we are able to employ them as workers. Yeah, so so this is how you explain it. Okay, yeah. So you can see, just one tiny term here, okay, will give you like page or 2 pages of arguments, okay, or even 3-4 pages of arguments that you can write about. Okay, but what about the negative effects? Yeah, so we all know that, right? Economic growth, of course, there will be less unemployment. But what will be the negative effects on unemployment? Yeah, more technical unemployment. Yes, exactly. And that's very good. Yeah, more expensive. Yeah, that's also true. Yeah, technical unemployment, and which is what is that? What's the category for that? When we are talking about technological advancement, and that's why there's more. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, structural unemployment. Okay, right. Yeah, so this is something that you can talk about it. Okay, yeah, in the negative side. Okay, so that's good. All right, so that's number 2. Inflation. Well, we just talked about that, and a few of you already gave me the answer. When we have economic growth, yeah, when you just think about the ADAS curve, okay, you will see there is an inflationary pressure. Okay, so you can see the price level will be pull up because of the increase of AD, right? Yeah, so very simple. Inflation is going to go up, but yeah, so that is basically the negative effect, yeah, for inflation. But what about the positive effect on inflation if we are experiencing economic growth? So how do you explain it? How do you explain it? So it's very simple. We know that inflation is going to go up. That's bad. But at the same time, it might not be that case. So how do we explain it? Away from the that is more like indirect answer. But when you think about the argument, so you want to talk about, look, maybe there will not be a high inflation. Maybe there will be a lower inflation, or maybe the inflation will not go up. People are more willing to spend money, therefore pressure to increase GDP. But that doesn't explain why the price level might not be increasing because of economic growth. Yeah. So you really want to think about it. Like how should we do when it comes to economic growth? The price level will not be increasing at the same time. Yeah. So in what scenario or in what situation are we able to get that result? So when we have economic growth, okay, investment in capital goods, yeah. So that's good. Okay, that's good. Yeah, if we are able to invest in capital, okay, it doesn't really matter if you are talking about human capital, you are talking about natural capital, or physical capital. As long as you are able to invest in capital, in the short run, yeah, you might still see some inflationary pressure, but in the long run, okay, because of of the higher productivity that you have, because of the higher efficiency that you have, you know, you are more productive. So at the end, okay, you are able to produce goods and services at cheaper prices. So that is good. So that will help reducing the inflationary pressure that you have. So for inflation, if you want to argue this, you want to talk about long-term economic growth, okay? Because when we move up back to the diagram yeah, here, right? Look at this, okay? Yeah, try to look at this here, right? When we're able to have a long-term economic growth, okay? So let's say the AD is remained unchanged, okay? So we can see the price level is actually decreasing because of the higher productivity that we have in the long run, okay? Yeah. So which makes the goods can be produced at a cheaper price, okay? So yeah, so that is the argument that you want to talk about, okay? Yeah, when it comes to that point, all right? Yeah. So make sure you remember that, all right? Okay. Yep. Okay. So let's move back to number 3. Yeah. So number 3. Yeah. You always have two sides. Okay. What about income distribution? Yeah, income distribution. You guys already gave me the answer, so I guess I'm just going to quickly go through this. Yeah, I think some of you talk about there will be income distribution will be worsened because of this. Okay. Yeah. That's quite true. Yeah, because when you are living in a market economy, okay, look, yeah, when there is less government intervention, okay, positively, okay, or possibly, right, maybe even though there is economic growth, look, maybe it's just some of the people, maybe just a few of the people, they will get higher income, okay, yeah, and for the rest of the people, they are still living in a very poor condition, okay. But if you think about this positively, if you are able to increase economic growth, okay, so people, they have more income, like in general, okay, when you think about this positively, all right, so they are more able to improve themselves, okay, so there should be more opportunities for capital investment. So at the end, people, they might have more skills, okay, so yeah, so they're able to earn higher incomes. So this is how you argue this, okay, right? If you're trying to show the positive and negative sides from income distribution here, okay. So that's number 4, all right. Yeah, and for number 5, so this one is a bit difficult. Yeah, so number 5, what do you think? If we have economic growth in general, what do you think it will affect the current account in your balance of payments? So just in general, what do you think? Is the current account getting better, or is the current account getting worse? If you just think about it in general. So if you have economic growth, so people, they have, well, yeah, could be better. Yeah, could be better, but let's use a basic logical thinking. Okay, if you have more, yeah, it really depends on the stage of economy that is in. There are so many factors. Okay, so we cannot really see a clear relationship between current account and economic growth. Okay, so this is, yeah, and that's why sometimes people, they feel so lost when they want to discuss between economic growth and current account. Okay, but in general, okay, so let's follow this logic here. If we have economic growth, then which means we have higher income. So if we have higher income, what kind of goods do you think we are going to spend more? Yeah. So we have a very general logic here. If we have well, normal goods, but what kind of normal goods? Is it going to be domestic normal goods, or imported normal goods? Yeah, yeah. So this is our assumption. Okay. Yeah. So when we have high income, we prefer to spend money on more imported goods. Okay. All right. Yeah, because supposing that imported goods, yeah, if you are talking about like free trade, yeah, and everything, yeah, specialization in the global perspective, they have better qualities. Okay, yeah, and that's why if we have higher incomes, then yeah, I'm gonna buy a bottle of wine, look, from France. Okay, yeah, you know, that's it. Okay, but if we are following this logic here, then we can say the current account is going to be worsen, right? Because we are buying more and more imports. Okay, yeah, because of a higher economic growth. So this is one general argument that you can talk about. Yeah, but at the end of the day, when we want to see the relationship between the both of them, there are so many factors affecting this. Okay, the currency, yeah, the exchange rate that will affect it as well. Yeah, which stage of the economic cycle that we are at. Also, the income of people living abroad. That will also affect this current account here. Because when you think about this, right, if the people living abroad, they are all having higher income levels. So which means they are more able to buy imported goods. So even though we are experiencing economic growth, doesn't mean that we are always having a bad current account. Yeah, because the demand for our exports may be still very high. So that's why I said, look, you cannot really find a very clear relationship between current account and economic growth here. Okay, all right, yeah. So this is something that you have to pay attention to. Okay, there's no clear relationship between the two of them. Okay, all right, economic growth and current account balance here. Okay, all right, yeah. But when we talk about number 6, right? Yeah. So from number 1, we already mentioned number 6. Okay, because of economic growth, people they don't have sustainable development. Okay, and that's why the sustainability should be, not getting better. Okay, so basically that is the negative side of this part here. But what about the positive side of this? So how do you argue? When we have economic growth, we might be actually having a better sustainability. So how do you argue this point? Oh, that's good. Yeah, yeah. So more money and more able to conserve the environment. Yeah, well, maybe you can improve the soil quality to preserve the fish in the river or in the sea. Yeah, planting more trees. Okay, yeah, what I just said. Those items. Okay, yeah. When we do that, we are increasing the quantity of natural capital. Okay, and at the same time, we are basically improving the sustainability as well. Yeah. So at the end, we can achieve long-term growth at the same time, sustainability as well. Yeah. Right. What think about this? It makes sense. Okay. So yeah. So this is how you argue sustainability using the two perspectives. Okay. All right. All right. Yeah. So here is one very powerful slide here. Yeah, even though you only see 6 points here, but if you try to expand this slide here, it will give you a lot of arguments. Okay, yeah, and right, as long as you understand all the arguments from the 6 points, look, you should be clear for the topics listed here. All right. Okay, so after class or after school, yeah, just get yourself a paper or use your workbook, try to put all the relationship, the negative side, positive side for each of the item here. Okay, so that when you are revising this chapter here, you can link this chapter to other topics. Okay, so that you are more ready for your evaluation questions. Okay, all right, yeah. Any questions? Well, yeah. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a WhatsApp message. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I'll try to answer that. Okay. All right. So let's go to a very quick recap here. So, if you have to draw a diagram, okay, to show the situation here, so how do you draw it? So, talking about number one, okay, if there is a change in actual output due to higher unemployment, how do you draw a diagram for this using a PPC curve? Yeah, I'm not going to ask you to draw it, yeah, because it's kind of simple, and you just have to tell me like how do you draw it. Point shifts inwards. Yeah, that's very good, Andrew. Yeah, that's very good. Yeah, so point shifts inwards. So that's how you explain number one using PPC. But what if I don't want to use PPC to explain it? What if I want to use ADAS model to explain number one? So how do I explain it using ADAS model? Well, it really depends. I think it really depends. Yeah, maybe we need more evidence in order to come up with how we can draw the ADAS model. Yeah, because now we don't know what causes that higher unemployment. Okay, so maybe it's because of production cost. Maybe it's because of the lack of demand. We don't know that. Okay, so yeah. So until we have more evidence, we are not able to really identify how we should draw ADAS model in this situation here. Okay, but good try. All right, yeah. But number two, so change in production possibilities. So due to the use of AI, so how do you draw this in a PPC curve? For number two, how do you draw it in the PPC? Yeah, it's going to shift to the right. Okay, just like that. Okay, you don't move the point, okay, around. You just shift the curve. That's all. All right. Yeah. So that's very good. Okay. Yeah. And when we talk about ADAS, possibly, in the long run, the LRAS curve will be shifted to the right as well. Okay. All right. But what about number three? Change in potential output due to tsunami. So if you have to draw a PVC curve, how do you draw it? Shift inwards, yeah, for PVC. What about ADAS? Well, I would say both LRAS and SRAS, they will be shifted to the left. Yeah, because like I said, a few chapters ago, when we are moving, when we are shifting the LRAS curve, the SRAS curve always move along with the LRAS curve. Okay, but yeah, they do make sense. Okay, because of tsunami. Okay, all the resources, they are being destroyed. Okay, so the quality and the quantity of the resources, yeah, they're gone. So you can expect, there's a shift for LRAS curve, and at the same time, because of that, you are going to expect the production cost is going to be higher after the tsunami. Okay, because things are being destroyed. So yeah, I would say both of them, they will be shifted to the left. Okay, all right, yeah. So yes, okay. So this is how you you know, work in a question. Okay, but I would say it's more applicable to real life situation. So when you are trying to explain an article, yeah, this is the kind of understanding that you need to have in order to show the examiners you understand the concepts that you have learned. Okay, all right. But in the exam, well, they wouldn't give you a question like this. Usually they are very general questions. Okay, all right. So yeah, so that's basically all of them. All right. So take your time and yeah, do some revision. And yes, I did ask if there is any exams for this term, and the answer is yes. Okay, there will be exam. All right, but the exam for all of the subjects will be shortened. Okay, so you are pretty much going to expect a 1 hour exam for for your options, and for like for the core subjects like Chinese, English, and mathematics. There should be a 2 hour exam perspective, respectively. Okay, all right, yeah. So this is the plan. Okay, it yeah, never know. It is not a finalized plan, but yeah, you can be sure there is an exam waiting for you. Okay, yeah, all right. Okay, so yeah, so that's all for this chapter here. Yeah, that's it. Okay, that's it. So yeah, and I think I can go to no. This is I think I clicked the wrong thing. Yeah. So you see, we have one more. Okay, one more objective for economic. Talking about economic objective, and which is the equity. Okay, in the distribution of income. Okay, so we only have 4 economic objectives in IB economics. All right, unlike GCSE, we have 5 because we also include balance of payment in the economic objectives. But here we only have 4. Right? Yeah. Well, anyway, I think I'm just going to quickly introduce this topic, and then we will talk about it in detail, right, on Thursday. Okay. All right. Yeah. So, once again, do you still remember this? I think we talked about this in the very, very first lesson. Yeah. Right. So, once again, which picture represents equality and which one represents equity? Which one? Which one is equality? A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D. Which one? Okay, Andrick says A. Yeah. Anyone who has a different answer? So all A. B. Okay, B. Yeah. Well, it looks kind of equal. Yeah, because yeah. All right. Yeah, Ian. Yeah, that. But that's a very interesting answer there. D can be D can be equality as well. Yeah, but Ian, can you explain yeah, but if you are trying to argue C is representing equality, can you give me some explanation, like why C here represents equality? No, there's no right or wrong answer. I just want to hear your opinion. Oh, but sorry. Oh, sorry. I didn't. Sorry, I didn't see. Yeah, I didn't see this sentence completely. My bad. Yeah, my bad. Okay. Yeah. Obviously, this is not the kind of equality that we are looking for. Yeah, maybe A, B, or D. They are all representing equality. But okay, but in a general sense, okay, in economics, we would say A is equality. Okay, because we have a definition for equality. But it doesn't mean that you guys are wrong. Okay, yeah. Well, they can be all representing equality. Yeah, because when you talk about equality, it's just a normative statement. Yeah, it really depends on how like what's the definition for you when we talk about equality. Okay, yeah. But here, yeah, when we put the definition we have in economics, then we would say, equality of opportunity. Okay, yeah, okay. Thank you for the effort. Yeah, here, yeah, Andric. Yeah, that could be true. Yeah, if that is your kind of equality, then that is correct. Yeah, but in economics, okay, we do have definition, and we have a definition that okay, maybe he didn't steal. Oh right, yeah, that could be true, right? Okay, yeah, maybe he spent all the time building all the boxes himself, and at the end, look, that's why he deserves, the stand on the very top here. Okay, so when you talk about equality, look, oh, yeah, well, yeah, I mean, the guy in the purple shirt, yeah, I mean, he is not even on the ground. He is in the dirt. Yeah, it really depends on how you describe the pictures here. But it's very fun to see different people. They have different definitions for equality. But for economics, when we talk about equality, we are talking about everyone has the same portion of income. Okay, yeah. When we are trying to say equality in economics, we are trying to say everyone in the population, they have the same proportion of income. So that's why it's going to be A. All right, but you guys are also correct because it's just a normative statement. Okay, right? Just like if I say, look, Carrie Lam is such a fine woman. Look, it's a normative statement. Okay, yeah, maybe I think that is true, but you may not think that's true. Okay, yeah. It really depends on how you define fine. Okay, what that is. Yeah. So yeah, all right. So that's equality. So that's why here is equality. Okay, but what about equity? Do you still remember? So when we talk about equity in economics, what are we trying to say? What do we define equity here? Yeah. B should be equity, okay? Because we also have a definition for that. But just because we have a definition doesn't mean that is true equity, okay? Because different people, they have different definitions, okay? They have different arguments. They have different beliefs, okay? So here, look, when we just talk about the equality in income or the equity in income, this is how we define it in economics. Okay, equality, look, means income is distributed equally. Okay, but equity is trying to say that the income distribution should be fair. Okay, should be fair. Okay, so here, because the guy in the blue shirt is such a tall person, so he doesn't even need a box, okay, so that he can see. I think that's a baseball match. Yeah, I think that's a baseball match. Yeah, and this guy here, is shorter. That's why he needs a box. And the purple guy, is the shortest, and that's why he needs two boxes. So if we allocate resources like this, that's when everyone can watch the match. So that is equity that we are trying to say. But if we are using the concept of equality here, okay, everyone is having one box, then the purple guy will not be able to watch the match. Okay, so that's why, yeah, so many people, they always argue about which one should be representing the true equity. Okay, so what is really fair? Yeah. So this is the question that we always ask ourselves. Okay, especially when you talk to some economists, they always argue this topic, like what is fair when it comes to income distribution. Okay, we always look at a fair income distribution, but how do you define fair? Okay, yeah. So this is fair when everyone has one box. That is fair, and this one here is also fair. Yeah, when everyone can watch the match, that's fair, and maybe C is also fair. Okay, what if, look, this guy, yeah, has all the boxes, so yeah, and what about this? This is also fair. If we remove, okay, this fans here, that is also fair. Okay, so it really depends. Okay, all right, and yeah, and yeah, for the next lesson, I think we are going to do some discussion. Like what do you think? Yeah, what is the true fairness to you? Okay, so we'll talk about this in the next lesson. Okay. All right. So yeah. Right. So that's all for today, and I'll see you guys tomorrow or on Thursday. Okay. All right. Yeah. Did something just popped up? Did you see anything just now? Like 10 seconds ago, something just popped up on the screen, and I didn't see what that was, but something just popped up in the Google Meeting screen. I don't know. Yeah, maybe some guy just came into the classroom here, or yeah, or maybe he or she was there all along. Well, oh, you didn't see that? Oh, well, anyway, okay, yeah. So I'll see you guys tomorrow or on Thursday. Okay, okay. Bye, guys. Bye. Oh, Ryan. Oh, Ryan. Hey, Ryan, don't go yet. Ryan, are you here?
Yeah.
Oh, Ryan, are you still